had some small emergency come up, so I could not start in time. So let me ask you guys, has everyone got this white label error page? I'd asked you earlier also. So this is what starts a new topic. So let me just recap what we have done and where I'm going to take you next. So what we have done is we have created Spring Boot based Spring Web MVC web application, and which has automatically configured dispatcher servlet, handler mapping, view resolver, and all the Hibernate configuration stuff, including connection pool, session factory, and your all the things such as transaction manager and everything. But the problem we faced was the problem with the controller, or is the problem with the Hibernate configuration? Anyone wants to answer that? You should be looking at a stack press and you should understand immediately. So it is telling you no current session configured, and it is telling you Hibernate exception. So I have said this all in the steps. So here, web application and all these things, sorry, in the steps I'm saying here. So when you port or when you create, has everyone seen the problems? Answer is yes. And here in earlier versions of Spring Boot, it used to give us the exception, cannot find the session factory. But now over the recent versions of Spring Boot, it says cannot configure the session context. But the root cause is the same. So what is the root cause? Can Spring Boot directly support any native JPA implementation, including Hibernate? Or does it understand only the specification JPA? So Spring Boot supports what? Hibernate native APIs or JPA APIs? Answer is only JPA APIs. So what we have to do is, we have to replace, already the solution is mentioned here. Whatever you have learned, guys, don't worry. I'm not doing unlearning or anything. I'm just taking you to a, what do you say, more portable architecture. In earlier days, I told you, I said this point earlier many times. If you consider our entire ladder, controller, service, DAO, and a POJO, which so far we have created, can anyone tell me which layer? So focus on DAO and POJO. Which layer is Hibernate specific and which is Hibernate independent? I want two answers. S for Hibernate specific, I for Hibernate independent. Which layer is Hibernate specific and which layer is Hibernate independent? Answer that. POJO is Hibernate specific. Wrong answer. DAO is Hibernate specific. Very right. And your POJO is completely Hibernate independent. Guys, I had said this multiple times earlier, so don't give the wrong answer. I've stopped the project. So observe. If you have not understood this, look at it here. Open your topic DAO implementation and open the import list. The moment you say org.hibernate, tell me Hibernate specific or Hibernate independent? S or I? Hibernate specific. Means what? Tomorrow, if you change, if your company, organization where you are working, where I want to work, it is not using Hibernate, which is unlikely, but still I'm saying, and using something like Eclipse Link, will your DAO layer change or no change? 100% change. You got me? So this is your Hibernate specific one. But now, as a contrast, open any of the POJO we have developed so far. We have developed so many POJOs. For example, topic POJO, and tell me, Hibernate specific or JPA compliant? As in Hibernate specific or Hibernate independent? Hibernate independent, JPA compliant. So, and I said very first day of Hibernate, JPA is the specification. Implementer, one of the implementer is Hibernate. So when you change from what? From Hibernate to, let's say, Kodo or Eclipse Link or Ibatis, will your POJO change or no change? Answer is absolutely no change. So coming back to the point, which is the layer we will have to modify when you want to migrate from non-boot to Spring Boot? It's a DAO, POJO, both are neither, only the DAO layer. Everyone understood me? So now, see, guys, look at the journey. Journey in the sense, the learning journey I'm saying. First, I showed you on JDBC. Then we climbed the second step, which was Hibernate. Now I'm making you climb the third step, which is JPA. And the fourth and the last and the most advanced step, which will be your project technology, will be Spring Data JPA. But I can't take you to Spring Data JPA without explaining JPA. So let me tell you on which day I had given you this. Yesterday, I guess. Wait a second. Some diagrams. Yeah. So guys, open this thing. Day 16 data, day 16 help, Spring Boot and diagrams. Found the folder and you will find JPA Entity Manager Session Layers. Got the this thing folder? Open that. And this is a migration guide. I mean, you'll say where is the guide and all. This is all you'll require. You'll see this. Everyone found the diagram? So everyone understands the layers. This is your relational database. And which is the closest layer to relational database, which is the database technology you learned, JDBC. So initially a week, I guess, we were in pure JDBC. In the second week, we shifted from JDBC based data access to Hibernate. But what was Hibernate calling internally? JDBC. I was explaining the whole working of Hibernate using the JDBC calls. So now tell me, all these days when we spent on whatever we spent on Hibernate, were we using Hibernate native APIs from the package org.hibernate or in the DAO layer, or were we using JPA compliant API? Just now I explained it. What is it we were using? Hibernate native API. If you're still confused about what she's saying about native, org.hibernate, the packages are org.hibernate specific. So what is the layer? What is it we were using? We were using Hibernate native API to talk to Hibernate engine, that is Hibernate session, org.hibernate.session. And then we were using, the Hibernate internally was using JDBC to access the database. So this was the flow we were using in our data access layer. Clear or not clear? Tell me, step by step I'm asking. Are we clear? So now what is the migration we want to do? Do we want to, forget want to or not, does Spring Boot allow you to use Hibernate native API? Answer is no. It does not give you, even though it is using internally Hibernate, it doesn't give you a direct access. So what is it we are going to do? We are going to replace Hibernate specific DAO layer to what? JPA compliant one. Understood what I'm saying? We are going to replace Hibernate native APIs by the JPA APIs so that whatever code you write, whatever web application or application you write, will it be Hibernate specific or Hibernate independent now? Of course, Hibernate independent. Is the point clear? So now you must be wondering that, okay, another technology to learn. It is extremely similar. So let me ask you, okay, instead of asking you, it's always good to show you. So wait a second. Let me open our Hibernate docs. If you can find them easily, you can also open. Otherwise, I'll just open it for you. Because then, the link will be established immediately. So tell me, which is the API, which is the interface in Hibernate? We were using maximum, not maximum, 95% of the times, almost I can say. Which was the interface we were using in Hibernate? Quick question. Session factory we were using. Come on, guys. Were you calling the methods on session factory? Persist, save, update, and create query and all. Why such a horribly wrong answer after spending weeks on this? Session. Main interaction, the way you talk to Hibernate engine is through the session. So don't give me such a wrong answer. Session factory was just a contract to get you the session. So the main intention objective was using the session. So now look for session and you look at it and tell me, Is this Hibernate native API or JPA compliant? H for Hibernate, J for JPA. Easy. Everyone knows that. It's a Hibernate native API. But I had told you long back, I don't really remember, I don't know really whether you remember or not. So there are a lot of super interfaces, and one of the interfaces, Entity Manager. So click on this and it will take you to what? Okay, I'll not say anything. You tell me. Hibernate specific or Hibernate independent? Are you understanding? So we are just going to shift from Session API to what? To JPA supplied Entity Manager. And not even a okay, some method names changes. I'll tell you. That is why I've written the table that you did this in Hibernate APIs, you do this kind of. So migration will be easy. But the point is, this also represents your persistence context, L1 cache, and whatever lifecycle you studied, transient to persistent, detached, remove, remains the same. Okay, so this is where we are migrating. We are migrating from what to what? Native Hibernate APIs, open this, to JPA compliant APIs. Okay, so now this is the right hand side, which everyone knows. This is the LHS, which I'll be explaining. Okay, so right hand side is what? Hibernate native. The left hand side is JPA compliant. Is the difference clear between the two? All clear? Okay. So what is it we were using lately? I'm talking about, guys, DAO layer. Pojo is thankfully, fortunately, all JPA compliant, so zero change. So focus on DAO layer. So what is the, when we entered Spring, can you tell me what is the dependency of a DAO layer? Answer is in front of you. What is the dependency we were injecting in the DAO layer? Quickly. DAO layers dependency is a session factory. So were we writing lately means since yesterday, were we writing Hibernate utils or were we auto wiring the session factory, as in inversion of control, automatic wiring? So DAO layers dependency was session factory. And from session factory, how did we obtain the session? Open session or get current session? Get current session. And then the bulk of the time, not bulk, always, we were using simply session API. So either save or persist, or you remember save or update, merge, update, and session.get. If there is an ID, find by ID. So we had a get. Then largely we spent time in JPQL, then delete, and JPQL via create query, etc. Everyone understands this side? Well, 100%, because that is what we've been doing for almost like last one week. So now see the equivalence. Okay. So this is how I'm trying to compare and get you up to date in 5 minutes time. So here, what does a session factory correspond to in our JPA world? Entity manager factory. So tell me, what is the job of a session factory here? Answer. What is the job of the session factory? To provide you with session objects. Everyone knows that, session provider. So likewise, when I say entity manager factory, guess smartly, what will be the, hello, this one, singleton session is a wrong answer. Session factory is singleton. Session objects are created one per thread. It is called as thread local object. So never ever give such a wrong answer. People, impression goes down immediately. Guys, session factory, how many instances? Session, how many instances? Answer me. Forget entity manager. Leave aside entity manager. Session factory, a one copy, singleton, right? Akshata said it right. For entire application per database. And how many copies of session objects you have? One per demand. And how do you make a demand? Session factory.get current session or session factory.open session, or you can say one per request. Okay, so session is never singleton. Horribly wrong concept. Okay, so move on. So coming back to the things here. So what would be the job of an entity manager factory? Obviously, pretty easy to guess. What would be the job of entity manager factory? Factory is a provider pattern. Yes, please. No answer. Entity, okay, lead answers. Provide the entity managers. You got it? Like how Session Factory was giving you sessions, this will provide you the entity manager. But now, okay, so this is it. And what we were injecting here was a Session Factory. Everyone knows that. Now answer a very small question, very simple question. Open the topic DAO IMPL and tell me, everyone agrees that it has thinned down like anything. But can you guess what will be that repetitive code? There is some boilerplate code. There is some repetitive code still there in this Spring Hibernate managed DAO. Anyone wants to tell me that this particular code is still repetitive? Because that also I'm going to get rid of. That is what? Line number 16. No, that is not, that is this. This is a dependency, guys. Okay, no, line number 21, you are close this one, but I want, yeah, a better answer. Guys, any method, any CRUD method you have, first thing is you have to get the current session. And why that was, I mean, that was because, are you injecting here a session object or a session factory object? What is it your Spring container is giving you? Session factory. So the good news is, listen to this. Are you going to inject in our JPA compliant, JPA based down here, entity manager factory or directly entity manager? Guess smartly when I said all this. Are you going to inject the factory and get the entity manager from that or directly? Answer is directly. So that little less boilerplate code will also go away. Are you getting me? There is, okay, this is, we are in the what do you say? Second step. First step, I mean, the topmost step is yet to climb. I am getting there slowly. So, and what is the annotation to tell? This is a Java EE annotation that we want, or your DAO layer requires the entity manager. The name of the annotation is @persistence context. Because what is persistence context? That L1 cache. And the moment you created your session is replaced by its super type. Entity manager has the L1 cache. But now the another simplification, another good news. If you want to use J2E annotation, go ahead and do that. But otherwise, since we are working in Spring, which is the annotation for automatic wiring as in dependency injection, @AutoWired. So even if you use @AutoWired entity manager, that also works. So I'll repeat the statement in simple English. What is going to be, question and answer, what is going to be our dependency of JPA based DAO layer? Tell me the name of the dependency. Entity manager or entity manager factory, EM or EMF? So it is a entity manager, which is the annotation you can use to inject the entity manager in the DAO layer. You have two options. @persistence context, that is your JP annotation, and @AutoWired, that is your Spring annotation. Okay, so anyone will work in the same manner. So to make you comfortable, I'll show you. I mean, you can use this, but @AutoWired also works. So what is being replaced by what? Are we clear? I don't have to go to the factory level. I get the entity manager instance injected in my DAO layer. So which line I won't have to call, which boilerplate we will not require? Getting the entity manager from its factory, no longer required. Are you with me? Understood so far? Okay. So now I'm going to tell you, this is the method you used in session API. This is the JPA API. Okay, start. So no need of get current session, gone. So here, you remember? Okay, you tell me. Which were the 4 methods to transition to take your transient POJO to persistent POJO? Give me the methods of session API. We have spent a day on it. I mean, okay, part of the day. You can write in short forms, I understand. Are you understanding the question? In that flowchart, I had shown you state transition or life cycle diagram or something. Which are the 4 methods? Save, persist, rollback, commit, wrong. Save, persist, okay. save or update and merge. Yes. Commit and rollback is the transaction thing. It's not a session API. Okay. So there were 4 options. Here, there is only 1 option. And that was one of the reason I was insisting on persist. So if you want to make the transient entity persistent, which is the only method JPA supports, entity manager supports, persist. So anyone wants to tell me? Listen to the question. If you want to refer to entity manager API, will you open J2EE docs or will you open Hibernate docs? Because I'm still checking whether you are understanding or not. J2EE docs or Hibernate docs? Hibernate docs is a wrong answer. There's not Hibernate specific at all. See this, guys. We are into the JPA world, pure JPA world, specification only, implementation left to vendors. Okay. So now quickly. So here you can look at this thing, persist. And what it says is makes the instance managed and persistent. Managed by who? Managed by the JPA implementer. And there are certain exceptions associated. Okay, so right now, let me keep it light and simple for you. So which method is replaced by which? Your save, persist, save or update, merge for insertion of a record will be replaced by what? Persist. Understood the first level change? Because we're going to build some things on that. So I mean, using this. Okay, the next one. There was a session.update. So does anyone want to tell me, when you say update, from which state to which state Pojo went? Transient to persistent, persistent to detached, detached to persistent, whatever I mean. Yes, please. Update method, detached to persistent. Very right. Very good answer. I mean, correct answer. So is there a corresponding update method? Answer is no. Update is replaced by merge. Okay. So update, keep this diagram and you will be good to go because there is no other change. Next one. Everyone knows get, session.get. In goes the Pojo class and the serializable ID. Either it returns null if ID is not found or persistent Pojo reference, persistent entity. So that method name is replaced by find. Okay. Get replaced by find. And tell me, when you have learned Java persistence query language is equal to JPQL, change or no change? In the JPA world, of course, no change. Now do you realize why I did not waste your time in showing you HQL? If I had shown you HQL, Hibernate query language, one more change, HQL to JPQL. So JPQL remains the same. Getting me? Now, next thing. You remember we had to mark us, what is it called? Pojo for removal. Which was the method we were using? Session.delete. What will you use here? Entity manager.remove. And the main thing we used, create query, set parameters, and the get result list and all that remains the same. Okay. So this is kind of your migration guide. But are we going to implement the full CMS case study using JPA? Answer is no. I'll just quote the application like how we had written yesterday. And then I'll make you climb the last ladder, last step in the ladder, which is Spring Data JPA. And that is where we will be for the all remaining days. So we are in the second step. I mean, from the top, you understand that because without understanding JPA, I can't take you to Spring Data JPA that way. So now keep this diagram open with you. I'll also open it in a Paint-like thing. So I don't have to like every time this thing. Keep this as a migration guide or whatever. Open it somewhere. Okay. And now open the this thing, down layer. You yourself will tell me, change or no change? Of course, the answer is change. So Hibernate specific API all goes away. So get rid of it. And what will be the latest dependency of your DAO layer? Session or its super interface, entity manager. So here, and thankfully you can use the same thing. Entity manager. Okay. And you can see manager. You can use any EM or whatever. And so, or I can say, or can use J2E, or I'll say JPA annotation. It's coming from JPA, which is that JPA annotation at the rate persistence context. Because session entity manager is nothing but that persistence environment where your persistent POJOs are kept, their references are kept. And now tell me, do you even require this slightly repetitive code? Of course not. And your first thing is ported. Make the changes. Tell me when you are done, we will test. Are you understanding what we did? A major transition. We have gone from native Hibernate to JPA compliant DAO layer. Done that? Okay. Now let's try running this. Thankfully, here there was hardly any change because create query method, get result list is all the same. It is already JPA compliant. So now you can just go back, run this, run the whatever. I hope you had stopped the earlier one. Always check the console. So console should be all clear. All clear in the sense, 0 errors. And you should see the home page controller, singleton and eager up and running. And the real asset test is here. You refresh it and tell me, working or not working? Is your Spring Boot opinionated framework, which has Spring MVC and Hibernate all up and running? And if you see the queries are exactly same. It is like, Hibernate is under the hood, and we have just abstracted Hibernate using the JPA API. So can you see this? Hibernate is the same JPA vendor, JPA implementer for Spring Boot, or I can say persistence partner, default persistence provider, partner for Spring Boot is still Hibernate. Only thing is, it doesn't give you the direct access. So we had to go the this way, JPA way. Clear? Okay. So now I think you got some confidence. So now let us port that login part also. You remember we did the user login part. This is not where we want to show the topic list and all. This was just like a testing. So you can stop the application if you want. And now, is it working for everyone? As in whoever is testing parallelly? I hope it is yes. Okay, I am telling you there are standard things which work. So now let us start the porting. So before I start the porting part here, yes. So as you know, yesterday we have finished, no, not admin flow, very, very little. So login page, automatic generation, the validation, and here we were displaying the topics. So this is what the same level I want to take you to in the JPA world. Understood the point? Understood what we are going to do? Okay, so let's do that. And let me give you step-by-step things. You can say close everything. Now, this home page, this was just done for your understanding purpose. So this is not where we are going to inject the dependencies. So what I'm suggesting is, just a second, what I'll do is, this is a good test case. I mean, test this thing. So I'll copy this and keep it as version 1. So that in case anyone wants to do quick testing, whether their entire ladder is working or not, I'll just give me a minute. I'm making the versions. Okay, I'll say the Spring Boot project now. But Spring Boot projects are nothing but built on Maven. So whenever you want to import, you import it as file, Maven, as an existing project. Okay. So I'm saying the version 1 here. I don't have a GitHub. I'm not using GitHub currently. So I'm making version control myself. Otherwise, once you put it on the GitHub, it gets automatically done. Okay. So this was it. Now let me make the changes. You don't have to make the copies. I'll make the copies for you. Okay. So yeah. So now I'll start editing this. Open the home page controller. And I just want to say the welcome message from there. So get rid of this. This was only for done for quick testing. Next one, remove all of this, invoke DAO's method and come to this level. So all it is showing you, you can say Control Shift O, it will remove all the unnecessary dependencies. I'll wait. So we are back to welcome to Spring Boot types. Now I have a question. Yesterday we have spent the whole day in making you understand all this. So can you tell me, when you go from non-Spring Boot to Spring Boot, what will be the same? Controller, you have to write in the same manner. So I'm asking you to make the copies now. So if you want, you can make the copies or you can just copy the code. So which are the controllers I want you to copy is customer controller, hello controller, and don't do this, user controller. Are you understanding what is going on? Porting non-Spring, non-boot project to a Spring Boot in a quickest possible manner. And that is where we will be throughout the day. Understood the controllers? Copy them into the new project. So we have comma controller pasted. Don't worry, there will be errors because we have yet to copy the service layers and all that. Now, go to the DAO layer and, so topic DAO we will not this, iUser DAO and iUser DAO IMPL. Topic DAO we have written, don't override. So make the test. We will have to change some things. We will make changes soon. Pick up the service layer. And zero configuration, as you know. Okay, so hereafter everything will start in the standard manner. So now you can close this day 16 and close, only focus on this. You tell me when you have copied it, I'll ask you to do the checklisting part. Done this? So please do the checklist. Everyone has customer controller, homepage controller, and user controller. Keep checking. The topic DAO implementation, user DAO implementation. Pojos, we had copied long back. It's no change. And in the service layer also, you have got this. So now, please open iUser DAO. And when you go from native Hibernate to JPA, change or no change. Everything I'm going to get it done from you. Keep responding fast. Of course, no change. So now open the user DAO IMPL class and tell me change or no change. Change. I'm giving you a minute. Do the change. Waiting here for you to make the changes. Make it JPA compliant. Start. Nothing unknown. Everything you know. Done? Very good, Gaurav. Excellent, Sumit. All good, guys. So you all know, no dependency on Hibernate whatsoever. Get rid of this. And the dependency will be entity manager. So Java X dot persistence dot entity manager, which is directly equivalent to your session. So this is all entity manager. It will be taking up from the JPA package. Choose it from the JPA. Sorry, manager. And you know this. So now you can get rid of all this. Now you know already that boilerplate reduction and all that. So let's make code very light and directly call it on manager. Has everyone finished it? Done? Can we go ahead, guys? Oh, something I forgot. Oh, JPQ also I deleted. No issues. My mistake. Which is the stable user. Select you from where you dot email equal to em and you dot password equal to colon pass. Correct. Am I correct? If I make a mistake, let me know immediately. Okay, so that GPQL is there. And so I hope you understood this. At persistence context, Avinash, you're not paying attention. Either it is auto-wired or it is persistence context. So if you are running it, I have not used it here. Here I have done. I said it is either or. So either you can inject the entity manager using your JP annotation persistence context or the Spring equivalent dependency injection, which is auto-wired. So I'm telling you to use the auto-wiring. Okay. So now what else? Anyone wants to tell me what else we need to copy in order to test, in order to reach where we were yesterday? What else I have to copy? Okay, simple question, simple answer. What about the view layer? Is the view layer available like yesterday, topics.jsp and all? No. So go up here and copy the view layer. Day 16 Spring MVC. Customer. Test you don't require. User. That's it, I guess. Yeah, customer and user. Both the folders. And paste it under WebINF views. So check it once. The index.jsp should be directly under WebINF views. If you understand, you will not make a mistake. If you don't understand, you'll definitely make mistakes. So the index.jsp should be under, you check the path. Web app, WebINF views, index.jsp. Next is under customer, you have topics.jsp, and under user, you have login.jsp. Looking all right? Got all the stuff? Okay, so now is the testing time. So you have this already. So click on the drop-down list, open this day 17 and check whether your Spring Boot application is up and running. So check it and then go to the client side and refresh. Oh, no, I forgot. What is it I forgot? Index.jsp also have to, or at least add a link. Guys, this was your earlier one. So in a hurry, we make mistakes. That index.jsp has to have a link. So let's add a link here, guys. User login. I forgot to copy the index page. It was the old one. So what is it? User/login. So once you have made a change in JSP, you don't have to reboot this. You can simply refresh. Got the link? Test it with the invalid login. So it is showing all that. Test it with the admin login we have not yet gone to, but yes, this login, the customer login, please check. 1, 2, 3, I guess. And tell me whether we have successfully ported from native Hibernate to JS, API. Is it working as before? I'll wait here for a better feedback. More feedback, more responses, please. Do it fast. I did not change a word other than in the down layer. Okay, so let us take you a little further. And then I'll have some time because it is all timing based. So before our next break, we will spend time in JPA and then I'll take you to the ultimate, the API, which you will use in the Antyodaya project technology as Spring Data JPA. See guys, JDBC API was abstracted by Hibernate. Hibernate API now is being abstracted with JPA. And once you come to Spring Boot says you don't have to even go to JPA layer. I'll give you, or there is something called a Spring Data JPA, but after half an hour or something. I want to give you some more practice in JPA. So let's pick up one more part. You can stop the server if you want. So now I don't. Okay, I'll keep this. Yeah. So let us build something more. So continue here. I want to have this form. Okay, imagine that customer has logged in successfully. So we have got all the topics. We had displayed that. So it is all working fine. Just let us put it in the form and then allow the user to choose the topic. Is everyone clear what we are discussing? For a change, I'm continuing with the customer flow. Then we'll come to admin flow also. Is everyone clear? So I'm giving you a minute here and you are going to we are going to discuss the steps and we are going to do it in a parallel manner. Whole of today is majority going to be hands-on. Okay, so requirement is clear. All I have shown the client so far is available topics, all available topics. Of course, I don't want it. I want it in a form. So now start telling me what will you change? I mean, how will you proceed? I give you my question. So tell me, give me some clue that this is what you will do. Which is the page? What is it? Controller, DAO, service, view layer. What is it you want to say? Topics.jsp. Everyone agrees? Okay. And in that, you are going to generate this radio buttons and say choose topic. So open topics.jsp. You can stop the server if you want. So the Spring Boot application will be shut down. Now, Control-Shift-W, open topics.jsp. So this was just done for the debugging purpose. Comment it. Do you need a form or you don't need a form? Start answering questions fast. Of course, you'll need the form. You got it? Now the form will be submitted. Okay, let's start with the form. So I'm saying don't waste your time in writing the form and all. So take the form tag from login. I'll just take this whole form and we'll make the changes. So here, okay. So we'll see about the method, action later. So as a debugging, there's nothing confidential about the topics. As a debugging practice, I told you, get versus post. Get will give you all the request parameters in query string, becomes easy to debug. So I changed it here and table and all is fine. Now just open it and I think you can manage it on your own. It's just a form. So what is it we are having is the radio buttons. So start telling me. Here, how many radio buttons? Is radio button part static or dynamic? Dynamic. It all comes from the underlying database data. So where is this info? Have we got the topic list lifted all the way to the view layer? Answer is yes. This is your topic list here. So you just have to attach an iterator and iterate over building the radio buttons. That's it. Got it? So which is the iterator tag we used or we use without writing? Exactly. So which one? JSTL. Everyone remembers JSTL? So start. So, okay, let me give you that. Let us discuss the steps and you can mute me for the next 5 minutes and you can work independently if you want. So the first step is import JSTL supplied core tag library, taglib, this thing directive. Then here, this is where we will have a semicolon for each and iterate in the radio button. Radio button has a name and a value. Name can be static, value will be dynamic. So anyone wants to tell me, and of course it has a label. So have the answer here. What will be the label? Topic name or topic ID? What will be the label? Of course, topic name. And what will be the value? You will assign it to the radio button. Everyone knows the answer, topic ID. Okay, we had done it long back in servlet. Now compare that code and today's code and you will see so many advances. Anyway, so I'm giving you 5 minutes, finish it all. I'm doing it parallelly, but if you don't need my help, you do it on your own. Importing the tag library. I told you, mute me. URI. And if you just take a second here, choose third one, JSP JSTL core with a prefix of C for core. Next one. Here we will have the, I want rows, right? Yeah, so let's have the C colon for each. Here Okay, there's no password here. There's an input type submit. What is the button name we have given? Choose topic. Okay, button label I meant. Okay, and here items tag. There's a var. So var is the loop local variable attribute actually. So var is going to be, oh, look at this. C colon for each var is equal to anything. I can say topic if you want, T topic, anything. And items is going to be important. Yes. Anyone wants to tell me what will be the value of items? Because that is the only thing which is dynamic. Or you are solving on your own. The items is nothing going to be the topic list. That is what we want to iterate. And it is, since it is all dynamic, this part we have already tested yesterday and kept it ready. So for each topic in this topic list, now you don't require this. Okay, I can get rid of this maybe. And what is the type, input type? Radio. Name is equal to the topic ID you are going to say. So let's say topic ID. And the value is, okay, sorry. Value is going to be a dynamic expression, dollar topic. This is a reference to your Pojo. So last time I think I had made a mistake. So where is my Pojo? Topic Java. There's a topic name. There's no topic ID. You remember we are extending it from the base entity, and here the property name is ID. So in short, we are back to topic dot ID. Are we here done? So no, label. I need a label. So that is your dollar topic dot name, I guess. LLC. But it is a, I think it was name, right? No, topic name, sorry. There I had made a mistake. Are we clear? We have done similar things earlier. Is it clear? So I think here we are almost, not almost, we are done with this page, I guess. So let's see. I have yet to decide the form action that I'll decide last. So this is your thing and all that, topic ID and all that. Yeah. So other than the form action, check whether you are clear. You let me know whenever you complete. Done? Send it? Oh, you want to send this thing, JSX. Have you forgotten JSX and all? Okay, C colon for each is new, but rest all is HTML. Anyway, I'll send. I'm sending the, what is it? Day 17 something. Day 17. Guys, you are getting lazier day by day. You will blame me later for this. Customer topics. Okay, I've sent you so that you don't have to waste. And I wouldn't have sent you if it wasn't valid request. Anyway, your front end is going to be React. So JSP just in between, I mean, intermediate kind of a thing. Okay, anyway, done so far. I'm going ahead. So now take a look at the flow diagram and tell me, after user chooses the topic, anyone wants to tell me what should be the form action here? Is the form going to, okay, I'll not say a word. Otherwise, I stop your thinking. I'll repeat my question. Simple question. Follow the flow. This is a customer branch we are exploring first. So after the form is submitted, tell me, that is where is the form action. So what should be the value of form action? So I got the answer as /customer/tutorial. Because, okay, here, can it be others who have not realized it? Can it be tutorials.jsp directly? Absolutely not. Where are going to be our JSPs? Under WebINF. Can client access it directly? No. And we want all the view layer resolved by whom? Resolved by your this fellow, dispatcher servlet. The Spring MVC is intact, understanding is intact, only the configuration we did not have to do. So try this method. You can say action is equal to /customer/ what was it? Tutorials, right? What is, I'll just stick to the case study. So later it will be easier. Yeah, tutorials, right? So tutorials. I think you said that. Okay. Done this much. /customer tutorials. Got it, guys? So now let us try this out and see problem or no problem. Okay. So let's run this Spring Boot app. Now there is no hassle of starting run on server, external server, all gone. Spring Boot uses an embedded container. So I hope you made the change here. Go to the client side and you can just try this. And now don't waste your time in invalid login. Just try with the valid login. So tell me, is it lifting all the dynamic data, topic names correctly? Working or not working? Simple form, I mean HTML. So like there's nothing great about it. We had the data lifted all the this. So suppose I think we have topic tutorials under Spring Framework and the data wise. Later we are going to add. So Spring Framework then. And when you say choose topic, of course you are going to see 404. Why? Because where we have written added any action, added any method. But as my favorite statement goes, take a look at this and tell me, is this URL correct or wrong? Take the deep look. I mean, not deep look, detailed look at it. Proper look at it and tell me, correct or wrong? Is the URL fine? Or is something missing? Okay, what is wrong about it? What is missing from it? Context root is missing. You got this? So yeah, so that /Spring MVC is missing. And guys, we have done this so many times. Here, you know this, when you add a slash in the href or action, that goes away. Okay, so let us remove the slash. Okay, you understood the point? You understood the problem? It just drops your context path and you have a problem. But if you observe otherwise we are doing our job pretty all right. That is, it is having the query string with topic ID equal to 4. So this looks okay, but the missing context path. So let us try to remove the slash and observe what happens. Are you understanding? Simple things I'm telling you. Go to the client side and simply refresh the page and choose something. You can choose anything because we don't have this. And tell me, take a deep look and tell me, happy or unhappy, correct or wrong? Always I would like to show you the problem and then fix it, because otherwise you don't understand it, don't this thing relate at all. Right or wrong? Omkar has already answered me. What about others? 100% wrong. Are you seriously going to write a controller which is mapped to /customer tutorials? Or do you want to map it to /customer at the class level and just tutorials? In short, what is extra here? This is extra here. Are you understanding the problem? So guys, I add a slash, I lose my context path. I don't add a slash and I get something weird. And this is not so weird if you think about it. Because if you see the path, you are already, this topics page is already in the customer folder. So it just goes by the relative path and adds one more. So is there a solution or is there no solution to it? So there are two solutions. One is a dirty as an ugly solution, and one is a elegant solution. So what is a, what do you say, dirty solution or ugly solution? Hard code. Hard code slash, what is that context path? Don't try your spellings, guys. We have added that context path in that application properties file. So make it all absolutely, I mean, relative to your current web application. So for example, here, slash Spring MVC boot, slash customer slash tutorials. Just give a context path in the beginning and go back to the client, go back again, refresh the page and tell me, at least see that the message changed, white level error page. It is saying that not found 404. It is all Spring Boot errors. But at least tell me, URL wise, is it all right or still a problem? After adding this, only tutorial details is so wrong, Kunal. What are you saying? I want that slash customer in the beginning. So this is so it gets messier and messier. So this part is fine. Of course, I can accept your answer, Kunal, but then it leads to confusion. How to change it from customer to admin or customer to user? So this is a working solution, but step back and tell me, is this really, do you want to hardcode the context path? Is it a good programming practice or wrong? I mean, horribly bad programming practice, completely bad. Tomorrow you just change it to boot or, hospital management system or library management system or whatever. You forget this and it will go away. So there is a elegant solution. So what is that elegant solution? Of course, first thing is don't add this. And there is a Spring supply tags. There are Spring supply tags. The name of the tag is Spring : URL. Like how in JSTL we had C : URL, C : redirect. Now today I'm showing the Spring supply tag library. So Spring : URL is the Spring JSP supply tag. I mean Spring tags for JSP library, and that will do the encoding of the URL if cookies are disabled with JSession ID, and it will also make, when you say slash, it will automatically go to the root of the current web application. In short, without writing that Spring MVC boot, I will get all my URLs relative to the current web application. So how to do it? Pretty easy. This was for importing JSTL tag library. Add a comment because later you will forget. So what is it we are doing now? Importing Spring supplied JSP tag library. We'll go step by step, learn also and do it also with me. So here, how do you import any tag library? You know the directive. Taglib is the directive. %@ is directive. Taglib is the name of the directive. Reach here because I want you to understand. We want to get rid of all this mess just once so that rest of the case study you won't have any problem. Here, when you say URI is equal to, pause here. Do you see the drop-down list? Go to the end of the drop-down list and tell me, how many tag libraries your Spring framework has supplied? Count. How many? 2. So which ones I'm using today? The second last one. This one is for the form tag library, which I will show you for form binding. So not immediately. So choose this, read Spring Framework JSP tag library. Okay, so choose that. And if you see prefix and if you say control space, it uses typically a word Spring to indicate that these are all Spring supplied tags. Settle here. So one we are using C : JSTL supplied core tag library. Using Spring : we are using Spring supplied JSP tag library. Tell me when you finish. Once I finish typing, I will send you this page. Okay. Now here is the small trick, simple trick. So let's start using the tag. When you say Spring : control space, so many, it's a powerful, very powerful JSP tag library, but I'm not wasting too much of your time here because finally you're not going to use JSP as a view layer. But some things cannot be skipped and they are all part of your contents also. So there is a tag called as Spring : URL. Okay, so say Spring : URL, control space. And take a cursor here, read. URL tag based on JSTL C:\, URL tag. And here it will also support, it doesn't tell you, but it supports the URL rewriting also. So close here. You don't require any, what is it called? Separate, you don't have any child tag, so you can close. And this value is going to be the actual, I mean, Spring URL, the value is going to be actually the URL which you want to encode, which you want to specify. So here, simply take this and place it here. So the value is /customer/tutorial. And now I want to add, see this value, I want to inject it in the action. So declare, there is an attribute called as var, and the var variable can be, I mean, the name of the var can be anything. But since it is, we are going to inject this URL, or to be precise, yeah, URL is fine. URI, part of the URI. I'm giving it, even if you give the name as ABC, it is fine. So the point I'm trying to make is any name. And now, how to inject the value of this variable here? Nothing but your EL syntax, value of the URL. So just write it and I'll explain what is the internal, what is it your, this is not done by this, what is it called? JSP container or your web container, Spring container does it. You type it out and tell me, then I will go, I'll explain. So what is the new tag you are learning? Spring supplied URL. Is there any equivalent tag in the JSTL tag library? Answer is yes. Answer is C:\URL. But I wanted to show you at least once or twice how to use it. So I just took this as an opportunity. So it has two attributes. One is var, one is value. So var is nothing but even though it sounds like a variable, but it is not a variable. It is a attribute name. And the attribute value is, currently I wanted to take the client to this. So /customer/tutorials. And when you say $URL, is it going to print action as a URL or a value of the URL? Of course, value of the URL. So I have a small question. Let's see whether you understand, whether you can answer. If your client has enabled the cookies are enabled. Okay. So can you tell me, and suppose the topic ID chosen is 1. So what will be the URL which will be translated in the cookies enabled case? So I'll start it for you. HTTP host:/port. After that, will it directly start from /customer/tutorials, or will it add the context path? Of course, the whole effort is for that. So here my statement, guys, when you pass it through Spring :URL, it is doing two things, URL rewriting also, and making all URLs relative to, when you say slash, it means the current web application context. And what is the current context path? /Spring MVC boot or something. So you'll definitely see that. And after that, customer tutorials and question mark, topic ID equal to 1. Now the opposite question. If the cookies are disabled, what do you expect to see? If I disable the cookies and you check this, what do you expect to see, guys? I hope you remember the stuff called as URL rewriting. The whole URL same, appended by JSession ID. Okay. So in the lab session, you can translate all these URLs to URL rewriting, and your application can be, but all outgoing URLs have to be translated. So this was one thing. So currently I'm not asking you to disable the cookies, try it otherwise. So have you saved it? Let's check it out, and we'll stick to everywhere, wherever there's a link, wherever there is any outgoing URL, we will use Spring :URL. So go back, refresh, and check. Look at the URL and tell me right or wrong. This is working correctly or not? In labs, we may not even get the time. So why don't you do it right away? In a minute, I hope everyone remembers how to disable the cookies. So let's not waste, because we may not even get a chance to come back. I'm asking you to disable the cookies, guys, and check it out. Only thing is I have not translated all the outgoing URLs. So only this one I'm showing you. So sites that that can never add. So local host colon 1990. Say add. So you can see here that cookies is, see this cookie. I have blocked the cookie. Now go back. This will not work because I have not translated all. Okay, by the way, C colon redirect will also work. See something interesting. Not C colon redirect, sorry, redirect colon. Okay, go back all the way. Go back all the way. This kind of testing makes it so interesting. User login. Don't waste time in the wrong one. Tell me, remembering the client or forgotten the client? Remembering the client. But your web container is getting the JSession ID from the cookie based or URL based. Do you remember someday in JSP we had done this? You don't have to strain your brain. Just look up here and you'll understand. So can anyone tell me what has done the trick? What has done this URL rewriting? Yes, very right. The redirect, no, URL encoding is fine, but what has triggered this? There's no C colon redirect. You forgot easily. We are using redirect colon. Don't you remember this? I had written this, I guess. Wait a second. Open user controller, guys. Yeah, exactly. So here, where is that? User controller. And it is the code has reduced so much. Understanding is the same. So here this. When you say redirect, container is calling, Spring container is calling response.send redirect, obviously, but it is doing the encoding of also redirect. Got a proof of concept? Saw that yourself? Understood or not? Okay. And now further, but like I said, I'm not wasting your time in making it fully cookieless, but at least some things which are easy, I'll show you. So suppose you choose a topic here and tell me. Of course, we have not yet written the tutorials page, so don't worry. It is still 404, but tell me, is it working fine? Okay, check it. Okay, what I'll do is, I'll put it here. And then that tells you again the power of Spring, or what you say, magic of Spring. So tell me, start looking. Localhost 1990, all good. Spring MVC boot, perfect. That is my context path. After that, directly customer tutorials, appending JSession ID, and selected the topic ID correctly. Working or not working? I'm asking. I know from here it is working. In your case, is it working or not? And the only trick was for URL encoding, URL writing, client pull 2. We used to use response.send encode redirect URL. Here there is a redirect keyword. And for doing it in a client pull 1, do you remember client pull 1, client pull 2, or forgotten? Client pull 1 means what? Client has to click a button. Client has to take an action, link or a button. So this is your client pull 1 scenario. And which is the tag in the view layer I had to use is Spring colon URL. What I'll do is, not much is written, but I'll still make a copy and send you. In the meantime, guys, re-enable the cookies back and tell me, is your Spring container managing web container, is it still doing the same URL rewriting, or is it suppressing the URL rewriting? Test and tell me. In the meantime, I'll make a copy. I'll send you the zip in case somebody is lagging behind. This part is purely of Spring MVC. Re-enable the cookies and tell me, is it first of all working? And if it is working, is it taking it from cookie based JSession ID or still URL based? Don't rerun the server. Just change the settings. So here you can click on this And here just change the radio button, always allow. Done. It says reload. Okay, you can go all the way back. And here you can see. Of course, remembering the client details. But JSession ID is coming from what? Cookie or URL? Cookie based. You remember all that discussion. Web container always gives the precedence preference to cookie based JSession ID or URL based? Cookie based. So the moment cookies are enabled, will it continue to do the URL rewriting or will it suppress the URL rewriting? Easy answer, obvious answer. It will suppress. And if you say for suppose this, you can see that it is still working fine with all those rewritten URLs, but no JSession ID. So tell me, clear or not clear? I'll ask you what I want you to be clear is Spring :URL tab. Is this completely clear, guys? Okay. So now, of course, we don't want to see the HTTP 404. So can anyone tell me what is the next step you will do? You just tell me the next step. We will discuss. I'll give you 10 minutes break and we'll resume in 10. Yeah, start telling me the next step. Let me see this. Tutorials.jsp, completely wrong. Guys, see, all the answers are in the URL, my font statement, favorite statement. So, hold on. So, okay, this will be without JSession ID. The moment cookies are, doesn't matter. So, who is going to, okay, this is going to be sent from client to server. Will it be intercepted by dispatcher servlet, which is auto-configured from Spring framework? From Spring Boot framework? Can your dispatcher servlet intercepted? It's a yes or no question. Of course, yes. It's not ending in .jsp and all. So front controller will take it. What will front controller send to your handler mapping bean? I don't want memory-based answers ever. Take a look at it and tell me what is it it will send to the handler mapping bean. Take your time. / topics wrong, Gaurav. / customer / tutorials. We have shifted from topics to tutorials. But what will handler mapping bean return? Null or not null? Of course, null. So the moment I say null, what is the next step you will take? Will you end up writing a new controller or will you add a new method in the existing controller? New method or new controller? New method. In which controller? User controller, admin controller, or customer controller? Of course, customer controller. Everyone gets it? See, I'm discussing and giving you 10-minute gap. 10-minute breather. So you will end up writing, we will end up writing in 10 minutes, after 10 minutes, a customer controller, another method. Just a sec. Okay, so here. And now it has to get the tutorials chosen by the topic. And here, see this, display all the available tutorials under the chosen topic, sorted in some order and all. Okay, so we will start writing. Oh, you can write in top-down manner, bottoms up, your choice. So here, customer controller, get mapping, because currently I'm sending it via method equal to get. And there, what is it you'll have to do? Okay, let me ask you systematically. So in that customer controller request handling method, do you want to talk to database or no? Is the database access required or not required? Same questions I used to ask you. Of course, required. So now we will write in a full-fledged manner, controller calling service, service calling DAO layer. So answer the next question. This will be user DAO, topic DAO, or tutorial DAO, or everything you know. There's hardly anything which you don't know. Of course, tutorial DAO. So we will copy the interface so that we have this thing, and that tutorial DAO implementation, Hibernate specific or JPA compliant? JPA compliant. Okay, and then we will write some JPA method. Some method, this thing, JPQL style method, and we'll finish it. And then once you see, so DAO layer will return the list of tutorial names to the service. Service will return it to the controller, and controller will just forward it to the view layer. So in which scope you want to add it? Model attribute map or session scope in session or in model map? Of course, model map. So this is what we are going to do in 10 minutes. Got some idea about how we are going to proceed and complete this? Okay. So basic concepts, I'm just, porting you or taking you to Spring Boot plus JPA. Later, Spring Boot remains the same, but we enter Spring Data JPA. Anyway, after 10 minutes.